not doing anything. I mean, and it seems like it's on a regular basis. I mean, it's enough that it's made an impact every time I drive by that, you know, why are we paying for these trucks if we're not using them? The second question is, I mean, I understand that you asked 15 different communities, and regrettably none of, you know, 10 of them didn't respond, but I don't think the list that we have here is representative of our community. I mean, these are all mostly deep-pocketed entities, except for Raymore, probably. And it doesn't sound like they
We contacted like Shawnee,
Yeah.
Spring Hill, and, you know, most of the county, or most of the cities within the Johnson County area. I mean, we'll expand it, we'll investigate the point system a little bit more, and look at it from a maintenance perspective also. It was just, you know, the shot across the bow was, you know, my maintenance department and then they called 15.
Right.
I called 5. They got 3, I got 2. I mean, it was something that we weren't getting much response to in that initial look.
I know that, as an example, Spring Hill, last time I read, I don't know why I'd be reading Spring Hill's minutes, but I think I did one day, and it said that they bought their police cars from Westwood, city of Westwood, which, you know, I don't know, you know, at what point Westwood would get rid of their police cars, but that sounds like a smart purchase to me. And it sounds like a frugal community. You know, maybe they don't have the money that we do. You know, maybe they don't put as much wear and tear on their vehicles. But I guess there's in aviation, there's a mean time before failure, you know, principle, and it seems like it should be in this as well. And that is, you know, obviously there's going to be police cars or plows that go down at the most inopportune time, but we should expect that and not plan for, you know, I guess, plan so conservatively that we sell things before that we get maximum use out of them. Is that, I don't know if anybody else agrees with that, but it just seems like, you know, last time we bought police cars, it seems like we, you know, we were told there was a policy to get rid of them at 90 to 100,000 miles, and then we found out that really there wasn't a policy, and so.
Councilman, can I address some of that, please? You know, I'll tell you, and I can't speak for Brian, but what I think I can speak from my side of the police department is coming into the agency, I have found it lacking in a standardized replacement model of anything, be it equipment, be it cars, be it whatever. It was just never standardized. There's never been a program, never been a replacement sheet, a spreadsheet to say at this number of years, this piece of equipment goes away. Because they have a lifespan just like anything else that we drive and we use. And, you know, for us, for our side of this, being in the business of emergency services, I really don't think we want to start pushing some of those things past the lifespan of that vehicle, radar, or whatever that can come back and haunt this city, each one of us, either civilly or getting someone hurt. I can speak from, you know, Brian, he's done an excellent job. Thank you. I think it's very, very presentable. Thank you. When he sent this over to me, I was very impressed. Having worked with an agency before that has something like this, believe me, it also takes out the argument of every time you go to get a new car. Because some of the more contentious arguments I have been in have been over new cars. Because, you know, not detracting from anyone or anything, cars are something we all know something about. Each one of us go out and buy a car. Each one of us are familiar with that. We know when we get the best deals. We know how to get the best deals. So when we put these police cars up and say, we need X number of cars, the first thing you do is you revert to your personal experience and say, well, I know I can do these things. And I'm sorry, in the business of police cars and public works and parks, these things have such a hard life. We maintain them. We make sure that officers treat them well, but it's just they run 24/7, 365, snow, sleet, rain. I mean, I've got a Ford Explorer there. I just put almost $3,000 into that's going to be a CVSA vehicle, $2,000 some odd dollars, to get it up and get it to where it's presentable for the officer to use, to drive. So, I mean, I understand what you're saying, sir, but, you know, and I can even appreciate the fact that you say maybe we can go to Westwood and buy the hand-me-downs, but I'm telling you right now, I have seen agencies do that, and that really creates more problems than what it solves. Because in the long run, we're paying more money out. So this is just, I feel, in my opinion, just a nice, easy way to set up and get a fund where we all come in, and how it worked with the city I was at, literally at the first of each year, each representative was sent over from each department and said, what do you need? I need 2 patrol cars. What mileage are they at? Well, we're at 90,000. Brian goes, well, I need 2 trucks. They're at 120,000. Okay, we'll delay our purchase so you can have yours. And there's very much give and take, and I thought it was just an excellent program to work with, so. I don't know if that answers your question or...
It does, but the one statement that you made that concerns me is that, when you said having a policy takes it out of the, the contentiousness, and I think that's what our job is.
Well, and I agree, sir, I agree with that, and hopefully...
Every cent.
I agree with that, sir, and I can certainly understand where you'd be concerned about that, but hopefully, too, and I think to give accolades to Ms. Cheryl Harrison-Lee, she's done a great job of hiring people who are responsible and stewards of each department that they work for, making sure that we do not go out and just expend money frivolously. We do it, that's part of our job to look out for the citizens of this community, our officers, and you all. And we make sure we accept that responsibility with the level in which it's given.
But our job is to trust but verify.
Yeah, and I'm good with that. You want to I'm absolutely fine with that.
And I guess I would just like to know that there is a failure at some point in some of these vehicles at 100,000 miles.
Oh, yeah.
As far as I'm concerned, it's a wasting asset any way you address it. So the question is, and again, you're right. We all go back to our own personal experience, but if you put a new transmission in a car that has a good engine in it and everything else is still holding up, you're still saving money in the end. You can make the argument, well, 3 years later the price will be higher, but I can guarantee you waste an asset till it depletes.
Every Crown Vic that I auctioned off on, we auctioned off on Purple Wave, brought us over about $1,000. $1,000. Those cars had 100,000 miles on their patrol cars. That's what we got on average for them, was $1,000. K-9 cars, when I worked in a K-9 unit, we just about had to pay someone to take them. Because, again, you're at this point of no return, and that's why if you look at Kansas Highway Patrol and really study their vehicles, what they're doing is they're no longer doing what we used to do in the olden days, and that's we'd get a car, we'd take it to a radio shop, we'd drill through the dash on them, we'd bolt things to the dash. Everything now is being Velcroed, it's being wrapped with those large graphics. So now at 40 and 50,000 miles, we can pull the graphics off. They can take the equipment that's been Velcroed to the dash and sell them out and get something back on return. Because even they recognize at a certain point, you're not getting anything back.
Well, again, it's a budget issue, and it's an expenditure issue more than it is. In other words, I guess I think the decision should be that's our problem to worry about whether we got $1,000 for it or we extended the life of that car with a $3,000 investment for another 3 years, right? You can. In other words, if you want to make the case that they fail in a high-speed pursuit, that you can convince me of. But from the standpoint that is it going to cost the city more in the end to repair it? I'm not sure I'm sold that your car is any different than any other car. That is, if you put if it's got a 200,000 mile life, and I'm not saying take a police car at 200,000 miles, but I am saying if it's worn but still usable, why not use it for another 20,000 miles? No, let's see what the mean time before failure is. And again, maybe police cars is a different situation, but I don't know. Have we ever had any car totally fail?
We had a dump truck. Didn't that fail?
Yeah, last year you were down a dump truck all winter season.
So
it was to a point where the cost to repair it was much more than the vehicle was worth.
Well, it was taken out of service, as I recall. It didn't fail. We said we wouldn't buy a new one, and then your predecessor said that he would just take it out of service. So.
I guess from my perspective, and I'm going to try and walk through how I think this would work. So not for 2014, but for 2015, I think what I'm hearing you say is this would be, whatever we decide is the right parameters, would be the foundation for each department to bring forth vehicles that meet whatever the criteria is. And then you would determine, based on discussions, these are the 10 vehicles that we feel are the most critical